I feel like that's a theological text that we should sing again and again to each other. I carry your heart, I carry it in my heart. So as we continue our theme of pluralism, we thought it would be appropriate to have at least 1 week where we talk about Unitarian Universalism in that fabric of pluralism. And we're doing that today by choosing the works of UU authors and poets set to music. The 4 poets, in addition to E.E. Cummings, who we are featuring today are Ralph Waldo Emerson, Emily Dickinson, William Wadsworth Longfellow, and May Sarton. All of whom, incidentally, are kind of Massachusetts Unitarian Universalists. Tells you something about the roots of our faith and the culture that bred it. But I want to share that there's other similarities that you will pick up on through the program. And I want to say, the QR code that's going to appear is your last chance to access it. So I would encourage you to look up the QR code on your program because it, sometimes your experience is richer when you could read the words as well as listen to them, experience them, and process them. But the most significant common thread that you'll see today throughout all these writings set to music is that every single one of them knew that this earth was the home of beloved community, that this earth held us as people, as souls, as persons struggling and joyful in this world, that this earth was our first spiritual text. So you'll see this love of planet come through, and that is significant because it reminds us that the place we're striving for, the place where beloved community and sanctuary and connection with that which is ultimate happens in the here and now. In fact, every place we stand on holy ground. Now, Ralph Waldo Emerson helped America learn this too. He was the figurehead of the Transcendentalist movement, which helped launch a spiritual connection with nature and articulate one. So much so that he famously said that he did not feel connected in the sanctuary, he felt connected in the forest. We hopefully help remove that distinction with our walls, that you could experience community and worship and the trees and the forests together. Longfellow actually extended this a little further. You might not know him today, but he was the most popular and most esteemed poet of the 19th century. He's, in fact, the only American poet who has a place of honor in Westminster Abbey. And he, in particular, believed that the young United States needed to be a literary force, needed to have a language, and through our stories and writings, we would come to understand who we are. And he was inspired by the American landscape. He said, there's no other place that looks exactly like these places, like our wild mountains and our long plains, our ocean shores. He actually said that the American literary identity should be as unshorn and have the same impact as a herd of buffaloes thundering across the prairies. It should have that kind of impact. And so you'll see him give a sense of expectation in his work. Emily Dickinson also writes about nature, but the really interesting thing about Dickinson is that she was a recluse. She was probably had some deep, deep social anxiety, though there wasn't necessarily words for that. So much so that in her last 2.5 years of dying, we think she died of high blood pressure. She wouldn't even let the doctor in the room. He had to talk with her through the door. And yet she must have opened a window because she writes about birds and the moon and the sea. And that last part is so interesting because she lived in Western Massachusetts in the Berkshires, and she never once traveled to the ocean. So when she writes about the tides coming in and out, she was using her poetic imagination. She was going on a soulful journey, and there was the journey of her spirit that she shares with us in her writings. May Sardin also went on a journey of the spirit. She's interesting too. She was born in Europe and she came to the United States as a refugee, a highly privileged refugee, but a refugee. And when she was 10, the age of some of our beloveds here, her friend Barbara invited her to a Unitarian church. And she really liked going, and she remembers this one moment when the minister said, "Go into the chamber of your soul and lock the door." And it invited her to explore her inner life. And as she grew up, that line, that invitation always stayed with her. And so she went and journeyed in the world, and she had a profound and meaningful, intimate relationship with another woman for 12 years. And then she decided to live alone, sort of like Emily Dickinson, but to really explore her inner life. And it is those writings that she shares about love and loss and history and death, the journey of her spirit. So much so were her writings connected to us that when she gave the Ware Lecture at our General Assembly in 1992, we called her our poet, and she felt so glad. So today we hope that the writings of these poets and authors help open the chamber of your soul and help us explore with reverence our Unitarian Universalist theology. Amen.
Thank you.